Hey guys and girls, in today's video we're going to disassemble and reassemble the Winchester Model 1894. This particular one is a 2002 version, and there's something about this particular vintage of Winchester Model 94s that makes them very difficult to take apart. And so you're going to want to stick around and find out what that is. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll spend some time at the range, and every now and then we'll reconvene out in my shop back in Houston, or here at the farm in Louisiana, where I'll build some fun projects, and we'll share an adventure or two that'll make even a grown man smile. And yes, I'm hoping that we're going to have some smiles at the end of this video, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But the 2002 Model 94, 2002 vintage, was the last model that had the push-button crossbolt safety right here. And it's the crossbolt safety that makes this rifle so hard to work on. And so I'm going to show you how to work through that. We're not going to be doing any modifications to the rifle or adding any parts. No changes like that. It's just purely to show people how to disassemble for routine maintenance and cleaning. So anyway, let's get started. And before I move on, at the end of the video, I don't know if you guys have ever skipped rocks across a pond, but at the end of the video, we're going to do something really special. And we're going to skip some cannonballs across the pond. You're getting to watch this segment because this is the revised version. Sorry, I'm out of breath. The revised version of the disassembly, reassembly video for the Winchester Model 1894, the Winchester Model 94. And the reason it's the revised version is because YouTube restricted the original version. I believe they restricted because I had content at the end shooting my Dictator mortar at the GoPro camera across the pond, and I'm guessing, I don't know for sure because they don't give you details, but I'm guessing somehow that violated their policy, which is a little bit vague. But so I deleted the original video this morning and am shooting this segment, and I'll just place it in the middle of everything here. And so if you hear anything about fun stuff at the end of the video, I hope out of support for my channel you'll keep watching and not bail out, but the fun stuff won't be there because I've edited out. But I've been thinking about a time to, and we are going to continue with the disassembly stuff, so don't bail yet, or don't bail at all actually. But I've been waiting for the right time to publicly launch my Patreon account. And as my YouTube channel has grown, it's become obvious that it's an expensive endeavor, and so taking advantage of means to support the channel, which has been coming entirely out of my pocket, it makes sense that I start pursuing some of those options. And certainly I'm appreciative to YouTube for the support I get through the normal channels there, but the restrictions sometimes are hard to understand. And so that's where Patreon comes in. And so I'll start uploading some things to Patreon, and would appreciate it if some of you guys, all of you, one of you would join me over on Patreon and support me there as well. But I'm thankful for all of my viewers. We've been at YouTube now for a year, and I say we, it's my family who's been enduring all of this, my family and me. We've been at this for right at a year now, and here we are in the middle of July 2020, and it's been just a year since we started. And it's been a wonderful time. It's been a learning experience, and so I want to say thank you to all. I hope you'll, as I said, I hope you'll continue to support my channel by watching, and especially by continuing to watch this video, even though it's revised and will be will be hampered, I'm sure, by the analytics since it's a revised version. But share my videos, that's helpful. Like my videos, and I love to see you in the comments because I have learned so much from you guys, and I hope it's been mutual as well. So I'm going to let the original video take off, continue, but as I said, if you hear anything about the fun stuff at the end, well, that's not going to be there, but it'll be worth watching. But right now, let's get down to what's serious and important and get this guy disassembled. I'll show you how to work through all the issues, and then we'll do a little bit of shooting once I'm done to make sure it works. So let's get started. Okay, here's going to be the order that we're going to do this. We're going to take out the stock screw, then we're going to take out the plug that gives us access right here to the pin that connects the finger lever to the breech bolt. Then we'll take out the hammer screw, and everything's going to come apart, and you'll see that unfold before your eyes. So let's get started with by removing the stock. And while I do this, I just wanted to show you the catalog page from the 2002 catalog, the catalog page that shows the legacy model, Winchester Model 1894, and this particular rifle is in .357 Magnum caliber. So just like other Winchesters, stock comes off easily. What's different about this model versus the 1892 and the model 1886 is that we don't have to capture the hammer spring with a pin like we've done in the other disassembly videos, and I'll show you why. So the second thing we're going to do is take out this plug screw. Gives us access, like I said, to the pin that connects the lever to the breech bolt. Change screwdriver tips, and again, you want to make sure that you use screwdriver tips that are smoothed off, correct sized, and if you kind of polish and smooth out all the sharp edges, then you take less chance of really putting a bad gouge in your metal or on your screws. So now we'll take out the hammer screw. And I had some comments in my other video about how difficult the Model 94 was to disassemble, but it's really not. And so now that we have the hammer screw out, we can drop the breech bolt just a little bit, and the entire trigger hammer assembly comes out in one piece. And there's nothing else to do there. It's just like that. So we'll set that aside. Now I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to take out this pin so we can remove the rest of the components. And I'll just use a little nail, and that pin falls right out. There it is. And flip it back here, and then I'm sorry, I left out one disassembly step, and that is we have to remove this retaining screw right here, and that holds this pin that retains the finger lever assembly. So take out the screw. Now I'm going to do this backwards so you can see how easy it is. Just like that. And none of this has to come apart. Actually, the locking lug just drops in there, but you don't need to do anything with that. So we just leave all of this together. Flip it back over. Now the breech bolt will not come out. And the reason the breech bolt won't come out is because the crossbolt safety, which is right here, the crossbolt safety blocks the bottom of the breech bolt from clearing. And so what we have to do is we have to remove the crossbolt safety. To do that, we need a little bit of a tool. For me, I just used a surveyor's flag, some hard steel, I ground a fairly, it's not a sharp point, but it's just a tapered point there. And I'll give you some close-up views on this here in just a second. But push on a little pin. And you're going to want to protect and keep the plunger. There's a spring plunger in here. I'll show it to you in just a minute. You want to keep that plunger from popping out and disappearing. And it did pop out. And there it is. And so you don't want to lose this guy. So one thing when you take the breech bolt out, the firing pin is not retained. So the firing pin can come right out. And when you want to make sure if it comes out, it can spin around as well, and you just want to make sure that the profile right here on the bottom of the firing pin matches the profile on the bottom of the breech bolt, and so it needs to be in that orientation. And that's going to allow the finger lever to go up in here, and that is what controls what controls the firing pin, keeps it from coming out, and keeps it from rotating. Before we reassemble, let me go through the process of reinstalling and disassembling the crossbolt safety. Okay, here's how we get the crossbolt safety out. There's a plunger right in this hole. There's a plunger right in this hole that is depressed, and it's underneath the crossbolt safety, and so it's actually pushing up on the crossbolt safety. There's a hole here, and I'll show you in just a minute. There's a tiny hole in the crossbolt safety down in this area, so you need something small to press through the crossbolt safety onto that plunger. Once you get that plunger depressed, then push with your thumb until the crossbolt safety pops loose of the plunger. And then we'll pull the crossbolt safety out. Now the plunger is going to want to eject when you pull out the crossbolt safety, and so I've got my finger here to keep that from disappearing. It just popped out. And there it is. Tiny plunger, tiny spring. And the problem that I had was this hole right here, which is the key to disassembly and reassembly. That hole was filled with, it wasn't machined properly, and so I could not get anything through there to depress on the plunger. So it was really, really hard to get it out the first time. Once I did, I just poked something through, got it cleaned out, and now it's reasonably easy to remove and replace. But John Browning did not design this crossbolt safety, I can tell you. Okay, so to get it back in, if the plunger wasn't there, it would be just a matter of doing that. But the plunger is our arch nemesis here, and so we're going to put it back in the hole right here. Now we're going to take a dull, kind of a flat-ended tool, and we're actually going to depress that plunger out of the way and then start the crossbolt safety in the hole until the crossbolt safety is capturing the plunger, just like that. And so now we just have to worry this crossbolt safety back in until it pops in place, just like that. Okay, but now it's in the way. We can't get the breech bolt back in because this feature on the breech bolt conflicts with that surface on the crossbolt safety. So let me remove the crossbolt safety again, and then we'll get back to reassembly. Now, if you're thinking about getting rid of the crossbolt safety, just keep in mind that there is no half cock. There's no half cock on this trigger hammer assembly, and so the only safety device you have is that crossbolt safety. So now that we're going to reassemble, we need first to put the breech bolt back in. And then we need to reassemble the crossbolt safety. Depressing the plunger again. There it is. Okay, crossbolt is back in. So the finger lever goes up through this slot right here. The locking lug goes up in its track right there. Just like, oops, see, I didn't get I didn't capture the breech bolt. So let's do it again. Okay. Now once we have that working, then we'll reassemble this pin. And we'll put the screw in there in just a second. And then we need to look down through here, get the breech bolt closed, and then you can look down through the hole and you can see when the finger lever is in the right position, and then you can drop in the pin. Now the pin has a tapered end. You can see the tapered end right here. Tapered end goes in first. Now the trigger hammer assembly just goes right up in there just like this. Nothing really to line up. Drop in the screw. Reinstall the stock. Okay, there it is. Okay, everything works like it's supposed to. Let's see if it'll fire a round. We're going to set the camera up really quick. We'll shoot some rounds at the steel, and then we'll go set up the dictator and see if we can skip one across the pond at the camera. So. All right, let's see if it shoots. Ran out of bullets before I got to the reactive target. Now let's take that Dictator 1861 Seacoast mortar down to the pond and see if we can have some fun. And I thank you for sticking around, and appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.